What is up, everybody? It is Corby Nintendo, and today I am coming to you with the truth, the finite truth, which is that Nintendo is the best. Okay. I said it, all right? I said it. Nintendo is purely the best. And you ask me why? Okay. It's because they have the highest prices, and the highest number wins. Always. No, that's not why. You can blame that on the economy or something or whatever. But anyway, here's the deal, right? This thing right here, I played on PlayStation, okay? I grew up with PlayStation, which, by the way, let's be honest, PlayStation, especially, I think, let's see, I was born in 98 and I started playing on the thing probably early 2000s. Was there any better time to play on a PlayStation? They had the PlayStation 2. You know what I'm saying? Great, okay? Sony, they had everything in the palm of their hands, okay? They had me in the palm of their hands. And then they didn't. You know why they didn't? Because they fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag, and you can ask Fuecoco here what that means. He's not going to tell you, though, because he's a Funko Pop. But listen, here's the deal. I played on Sony for years, okay? I had the PlayStation. And the problem is, at the end of the day, there's some of us that like continuity, okay? I enjoy continuity. And that's also why I think Nintendo is the best. Who else do you see who's always going to give you at least a sequel or something of the game that you know that you enjoyed before? I don't know, okay? PlayStation, look, I played Ghost of Tsushima, great game. Did I know that it was going to get a sequel? No, absolutely not. You know why I didn't know if it was going to get a sequel? Because I don't know if Infamous is ever going to get another game. I don't know if we're ever going to get a Sly Cooper. I don't know if we're going to get a you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's the whole point. Okay, Sony has broken their universe even. Okay, do you remember exclusives? Do you know what that means? No, probably not. And guess what? In like for 3 more years, nobody's gonna know what that means, except for people who play on Nintendo, because Nintendo is the only one with a sealed timeline. What does that mean? Let's get into it. Today, I'm talking about my Nintendo universe theory, which is that, look, Nintendo is actually a freaking deity. Well, not really a deity, but it's more like, it's like the Force. Nintendo is like the Force. And the company here that we have on this little planet, this little green and blue ball, it's just the interaction. Yeah, why not, right? That's a bunch of crazy stuff. But anyway, no, really what it is the fact that Nintendo has exclusive games, okay? You have Mario, you have Luigi, you have, you have The Legend of Zelda, you have Metroid, okay? We have all these incredible games on Nintendo. First-party games on Nintendo. And then you have third-party games, right? That's the thing. PlayStation still has first-party games. Xbox has left the chat, but we are looking at a seriously crazy time for Nintendo. I think it's awesome. I've been stoked about it pretty much every day of my life. I listen to Nintendo music every day. I use the Nintendo Today app. If you don't know what these things are, go look them up and start using them. It's worth your time. It's worth your money. It's buy more stock. Buy it all. Anyway, but yeah, no, here's the deal, right? One of the biggest things for me on PlayStation, the whole reason that as an adult, I took my adult money and was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a PS4 Pro and I'm going to get an extra controller with it. And I'm just going to go all in because I like to have one thing. I like to have one thing. Continuity, man. Which, by the way, the people out there who are like, oh, I have all of them. That's great. How do you play all of them at the same time? Can you tell me? And even if you can, I don't know why I would want to spend that much money on multiple devices that I'm not going to dedicate at least enough time to justify that. So I'm out. I'm out on that, which is why one ecosystem, that's all we need, baby. That's all we need. We need one ecosystem, and that's it. And that's what we have with Nintendo. Let's take a look at PlayStation real quick. There's no editing in this video, so I'll just help you visualize it. The PlayStation systems are absolutely awesome. In terms of, PlayStation was once a company that was like, yo, you, that's right, you, 12-year-old, you want to be 17 years old, right? Hey, old guy, 24-year-old, 30-year-old, 35, you want to be 17, right? And that worked. I think it worked because it made everybody feel like, yo, I am perfectly just cool. I think it worked for a while. Here's the problem, is that Sony tends to shoot themselves in the foot. That's right. They shoot themselves in the foot. After they've shot their foot off, they look and see they still have another foot, and they go, what the? And they shoot the other one off until they notice they still have ligaments, and so on and so forth, right? They've done it multiple times on the absolute crazy monstrosity of success that was the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 3 came out, and you can go do research on that. If you want to do that, that was crazy. And sure enough, are we not living in the same time again with the PlayStation 5? Is this not the same thing where the PlayStation 4 had good success, and now look, PlayStation 5, power. Hey, since you just spent $500 on this system, which by the way, now it's $550, although right now for the holiday deals, they have it down at $450, which is so nice. It's so nice. After you spend that money, right? Okay, which, who knows, it might change. It might change. I hope it does for them, for the better. They've already lost my money, but then it's like, hey, you want to buy a streaming tablet that's $200 with DualSense controllers on the end of it? Do you want to buy an accessory for the $500 thing that you just bought? How about some cool headphones? What about some earbuds? You want to do that? Oh, hey, you look like you could use more DualSense controllers. Oh, did you get stick drift? I bet you did. Probably. Buy more controllers. I don't know. It just feels like the games are not the focus anymore for Sony. Which, to be fair, I have been out of the Sony loop. I mean, I don't know what I had. Last time I had a PS5 was like maybe... When did I get the Switch 2? I remember I bought this trading my PlayStation 5 for it. Worth it. I don't know. I've had the Switch 2 for like 3 or 4 months, maybe. I don't know, maybe longer than that. But anyway, the whole point is, right, Nintendo has something that nobody else seems to have anymore, and it's exclusives. And with the Nintendo Universe theory that I brought up, the idea is that if you're like myself and you enjoy stories and you enjoy continuity and you enjoy almost kind of like, like cinematic universe kind of stuff where it's like, oh, this game takes place and then there's this game and there's this game. Well, what if they were all connected? What if they were all one thing brought together by the fabric of the universe? Yeah, well, I kind of like that stuff. So initially when I was on PlayStation, I thought, oh, hey, well, I played God of War, I played Ghost of Tsushima, and I thought, oh, maybe this is the PlayStation universe. It's the PlayStation world. All of these things connected to create one super awesome, mega, fan-inspiring entity. Yeah, I did that for a while. But the problem was initially not that anything was wrong with those games. It was more so the fact that Sony started porting them to PC. I'm just going to say it. Look, at the end of the day, if you're playing some Sony games on PC, I'm happy for you, man. Okay? Good for you. Okay? But at the time, as a PlayStation fan, it was kind of upsetting because it was like, hey, you remember when we told you that you could get games that nobody else can play on this exclusive device that we made you pay for in order to play those games when you play them? Yeah, we're gonna take all those games now, pretty much, and even future games. We're just gonna share them with people with these, let's be honest, superior devices, and we're still gonna tell you it's gonna play better on the PlayStation. Even though that guy over there has like the newest graphics card and is playing it almost at like realistic visual levels. Yeah, so that's the thing. When that happened, I was just kind of like, okay, so then why don't I just get a PC? And here's why I didn't. Because ultimately, I like a little console. You know what I'm saying? I like a little console. And I think if I got a PC, I would end up like turning it on, getting ready to play. And then I'd get distracted. I'd probably turn on YouTube, watch videos, and then be like, hey, I wonder how you're supposed to use Microsoft Office. I've never done that before. And then I just wouldn't end up playing my games. So as a gamer, right, I'm like, I need something that's focused on gaming. And this is it, man. This is definitely it, okay? The truth of the matter is, with the Nintendo Universe theory, let's go ahead and like clarify exactly what I'm talking about here. With the Nintendo Universe theory, here's the pitch. Okay, this is how I see things. You have exclusives, right? Those are obviously part of that core universe. Same way that PlayStation has Ghost of Tsushima, if you can even call them exclusives anymore. And God of War, those would be part of the same universe, right? On Nintendo, we have Mario. So we have the Mushroom Kingdom, we have Metroid, Samus traveling through space, we have The Legend of Zelda, Link fighting Ganon for the billionth time, right? All of these events taking place. However, to make things more interesting, and this technically can work for whatever you're playing on, okay? But this is a Nintendo fan channel, so we're talking about Nintendo. I guess it's not really a fan channel. It's more like this is a channel run by a Nintendo fan, so that's what I'm talking about. But here's the deal. The way I see it, right? Here's a good example. A couple days ago, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade actually released. There was a demo released on the eShop for the Nintendo Switch 2. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's awesome. It's very good. But let me clarify. I don't see these third-party games that show up, especially now that Nintendo has created the Switch 2 and now the hardware is there for these companies to kind of port some of these bigger, more graphic games. Guys, we're not just sitting here waiting for ports, okay? First of all, Nintendo has enough games already. The amount of games that Nintendo has first party is insane. It's actually ludicrous. It blows my mind, marbles. What I'm talking about is the fact that ultimately the best way to see this, if you are also a Nintendo fan like myself, don't worry, we don't have FOMO. FOMO is for people without a Nintendo, to be honest. What we're looking at is the fog of war clearing up to unveil these other universes, not other universes, but these other games, these other galaxies, you could say, these timelines taking place in the Nintendo realm. So for example, if you're like a lore nut like I am, and you're just like, oh, but I like to think that everything's interconnected. Basically what I'm saying is, with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade coming to Switch 2, we're not getting PlayStation's sloppy seconds, okay, because it was an exclusive for them for a while, which, again, hello, drop the bag. What we're looking at is in the Nintendo universe, the same universe as Mario and as Zelda and as Metroid and Star Fox and Donkey Kong, and I could probably name so many more. Pokemon? I'm not going to name any more. I might. I don't know. We're looking at uncovering even more of this grand Nintendo universe, where these characters are coming into play and becoming part of the Nintendo world. All this to say that ultimately, if you are thinking about getting a Nintendo, whether it's the Switch or the Switch 2, or hey, even going and getting one of the older consoles, we're talking Wii U, Wii, just anything, just do it. Do it. Dive in. You should do it 100%. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's what you should do. You should do that right now, actually. You should pull out your wallet and get on the website and type in, I want 5,000 Switch 2s and 200 Switches. Do that right now. Go buy those things because they're totally worth it. And ultimately, if you need somebody to play with, I am here. I will be here forever because Nintendo has infused me with life energy that will now make me outlive everyone I know. So if you enjoyed watching this video and you resonated with anything I said, that would be pretty cool. And I think it would be even cooler if you told me that in the comments. And you were like, hey, this really resonated with me. In the comments. Like the video, please. I want to quit my job so bad. Not really. I actually don't want to quit it that bad. I definitely want to quit, just not that bad. But you should like the video and subscribe. That would really help too. Thank you so much for your time. It's only been like 14 minutes. I'm going to wait until 14 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, I waited for it, and now we're here. Anyway, listen, once again, thank you very much. I'm going to make videos more often. If you actually are here at the end of this and you're like, hey, wait a second, what happened to that whole thing you were doing before with the episodes? Listen, here's the deal. I have big brain with big dream, and big dream need big money. And me don't have big money. So me have to work on big dream later when big money shows up. and that will get done later. So in the meantime, this is what we're doing, okay? This is the experience I'm going to have with you guys, and I'm so happy to be here. I am Corby Nintendo. You are viewing this video and liking it and commenting on it and subscribing, and thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye. Bye. But no, you hang up. Get off of my phone.